Did you know that the greatest power that we have been given is the power of choice? Now, to me, that's a spiritual principle. We've been given the power to make choices for our lives, and those choices are going to shape our lives. And in this video, I want to talk to you about boundaries, because boundaries are something that can shape our life and entirely change the meaning and the outcome of how things go. Now, I'll be speaking a lot from personal experience, but some things that I have picked up that are important to be able to set the right boundaries in your life. And these are boundaries not just for the people that you know and that you let into your life, but also your commitments, your activities, your life. Your life is time. And the time that you give to people, and the time that you give to the things that you do, that is your life. And you have the choice to let things in, to let people in that are going to enrich your life and give you also the opportunity to enrich theirs. And I am speaking from personal experience, because we have found in my family that setting the wrong boundaries, or just failing to set boundaries, can cause big problems. We have encountered situations of abuse that have caused problems emotionally, mentally, and even physically that we're dealing with even now. Thank God that there's been a lot of healing go on, but it really opened my eyes a lot to see the value of setting these boundaries to be able to prevent these things from happening. So it's really not a selfish thing to do this, because you're not just setting boundaries in your life for your own good, but it's for the good of all of those around you that you care about, that those boundaries will keep you safe and make your life a peaceful place. It really does seem like, getting to my age, if you're in midlife or beyond midlife, you've probably seen it too, that when you get to this point, it brings more clarity. It's easier to see the things that really matter and to look back and learn from experience, but especially just to see what are my priorities and what are my values, and how can I live a life and include things, include activities, include people in my life that are going to correspond with those values. And we find that we really don't have the time and energy to waste on things that don't go with those values. Really saying no to things, saying no to opportunities, saying no to relationships, that's one of the most powerful things that we can do to make sure that our life is emotionally and mentally healthy and stable. These boundaries that I'm going to talk about, they're not just something that we use to keep people out of our lives, but rather these boundaries will help us to let the right people into our lives, because you can see what people, what situations are going to actually be healthy for your life. And when you are able to say no to certain situations, that actually opens the door and makes more space in your life for the things that really matter. Now, how do you know where to set those boundaries? Let's get practical here. There are some guidelines that you can look at when you're setting these boundaries for the people that are in your life. One thing you need to think about is, how do you feel about yourself when you've been around a certain person? What do they make you feel about the way you are? If you spend time with somebody and after that you feel like you're just not that smart, they make you feel stupid, they make you feel inferior, like they know everything and you really don't know anything at all. And I've been around people like that a lot. And I didn't really get it until more recently that those feelings about myself really aren't truth, but it's something that I've picked up just from the way they feel about me, or maybe just the way they feel about themselves, but that is not healthy. If somebody is draining your emotional energy, that's another thing you really need to look at, because it's, well, I am rather an introvert, and I understand that if you're introverted, that being around groups of people and interacting with people a lot, it will drain your emotional energy and make you emotionally tired. But that is not the same thing. It's kind of like you can see it this way. If you work out physically, you get tired, you might even get sore, but you know that it's a good thing. And it's like, wow, I'm just wiped out from that workout. And you know that that workout is making you stronger. Now, it's the same thing with emotional working out, with being around people, that if it tires you emotionally, that's fine. Just get away from people and recharge your batteries a little bit, but understand that that same emotional workout is actually making you stronger. If it does drain and hurt you, then that's a different thing. Just like any kind of a physical activity that you do that causes pain to your body and injury to your body, that is not a good thing. Another thing to look out for is that if somebody's always taking more than they give. Now, I understand that there has to be give and take in relationships, but there are going to be people that are going to get into your life just to get everything that they can from you and never give. In the same way, we don't need to be looking for just people to get in our lives that build us up and give to us, but there has to be an exchange both ways of giving and receiving, because that's the only way we're going to have a really healthy relationship. But watch out for these people that they drain you, they use your time, they take advantage of your availability and your goodwill toward them. And it can even get into physical things, financial things, but especially just draining your time, draining your energy, and not giving back. Watch out for those people and feel free to limit people's access to your life if they are bad for you, if they are harmful to you, if they're going to steal your peace and your well-being. You have the freedom and the right to make that decision to limit their access to your life. And there are people that you might just kind of be wondering about. And if you just want to cut back a bit, that is one way that you can find clarity and actually see, well, how are things going in my life now that I'm spending less time with that person, having less interaction with that person, and you can tell if that's been a healthy choice for your life. You need to ask yourself this question: what kind of a person is this person causing me to be? How are they affecting me? Are they making me into a stronger person, a more productive person? Are they causing me to become a better friend for others? And if that's the case, hang on to that relationship, because these boundaries, see, that's another thing we really need to remember. These boundaries are not just for keeping people out of our lives. These boundaries are also ways that we keep people in our lives. We're not trapping anybody in our life. But if the boundaries limit access to the wrong people, you've got space for these people. You can give them the time and the energy and the attention that they deserve. And this keeps the right people in your life. How many times have you let the wrong people, the wrong activities, the wrong commitments crowd out the right ones, the right people, the right commitments, the things that align with your values? So that's why it's just so important to make these choices, to be able to weed things out and keep the things in your life and the people and the relationships and the activities in your life that really matter. And when you've really thought about this, the best thing to do actually is to take a time. Maybe you can think of a time in the next few days or weeks when you can actually set aside a period to sit down, get alone, and concentrate on this and think, who's in my life? How's it going with these relationships? Is there a relationship, a situation that I need to weed out of my life? Write things down. Seriously, write it down and go back and look at it later and see if there's something in your life that is keeping you from the best relationships, from the best situations. If there's clutter, I mean, we talk about clutter in our stuff, right? But we get clutter in our lives from people that demand our time And it's kind of, I don't know, I would think of it kind of like eating junk food. There's no nourishment, there's no benefit in those things, in those relationships, and sometimes they can even harm you. So do try to find a time when you can sit down and really meditate on these things. Pray about it. Ask for guidance. Ask for direction. And I know that it will become clear to you the steps to take, the things that you need to do, the people that you might even need to confront and say, look, this relationship isn't the best thing for either one of us. It's not easy, but I can promise you that really it's worth it to pay attention to your relationships, pay attention to your commitments, your activities, and see what your values are, and let those things align. This is going to give you peace in your life and mental and emotional stability, encourage you, give you strength, because life is good. Life is worth living, and it's worth giving it our best effort to where things come out the way that they should be. Now, I'm really glad that you've taken your time to be with me during this video, that you've taken your time to listen to me. So thanks for watching this. And really, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'd like you to consider that, because we are really kind of building a community here. And if you've got comments, if you've got opinions or ideas, or especially questions, please leave them below, because really I do read the comments, and I use the comments to help me to know in this community what people are interested in and help me to decide on what topics to make videos on. And speaking of that, I've got a video coming up here that you might want to take a look at, because I think it'll be interesting to you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.